Hi guys, this is Miss Hernandez with another installment of the Writing SOL Bootcamp video series. Today we're going to be talking about appropriate tone, so let's get to it. First we have our awesome question. This is a question from a released SOL, so let's get to it. Which of these sentences has the most appropriate tone for an essay? A, like some students may have tried their hand at basketball, but they do not know if they're good enough for the team. B, so some kids may have shot a few hoops, but maybe they're not totally sure if they have the skill to be on the team. C, some students may have tried basketball, but they are not really sure if they have the talent to play on a team. Or D, some kids may have tried shooting hoops, but they may not really know if they are as good as the other kids. So those are our options. Let's take a look at what the question is asking us to do. So first off, what is tone? Tone is the style or manner of expression in speaking or writing, according to Merriam-Webster.com. So if you say, so, I'm so excited to meet you, you're using a casual, friendly tone. It is a pleasure to meet you is a more formal tone. So I'm so excited to meet you is what you would say to a new friend your age. It is a pleasure to meet you is something you might say to your mom's friend or a co-worker, the President of the United States, someone to whom you'd be speaking more formally. So using an appropriate tone, the question says, which of these sentences has the most appropriate tone for an essay? So the most appropriate tone for an essay is the tone you'd use when speaking to the President of the United States. You wouldn't go up to the President of the United States and say, oh my gosh, it's so nice to meet you, right? Instead, you would say, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. President. So you would keep it very, very formal. That's what we're looking for when we say the most appropriate tone for an essay. We want a very, very formal tone, your best vocabulary, the best speech pattern that you can possibly use. So let's take another look at that question. So again, we're looking for most appropriate tone. A, like some students may have tried their hand at basketball, but they do not know if they are good enough for the team. The word like used in this way, like some students may have tried, is pretty informal, so probably that's a telltale sign that we're not going to choose that as our final option. B, so some may have shot a few hoops, but maybe they're not totally sure if they have the skill to be on the team. Shot a few hoops is very casual. It's something you'd say to a friend. You'd say, hey, let's go shoot a few hoops. You wouldn't walk up to your dad's friend and say, hey, want to shoot a few hoops? So just be careful with those kinds of expressions. They're very, very casual. Also, the not totally sure. Totally is more of an informal word in this case. So let's look at the next one. Some students may have tried basketball, but they are not really sure if they have the talent to play on a team. Notice that instead of totally, it says really. Totally sounds very casual. Maybe they're not totally sure, but really sounds pretty formal. And D is some kids may have tried shooting hoops, but they may not really know if they're as good as the other kids. The is very much that annoying that people throw into the middle of everything they say, they don't know what else to say, they have too many likes in there. Sounds like that, right? So avoid those likes. And also this has the tried shooting hoops again. Shooting hoops is pretty casual. We don't want to use that in formal writing. So another trick, another thing to look for is look for the biggest word in the sentence. Look for the most vivid vocabulary or the best word, the word that your English teacher is most likely to say is a great $10 word. Usually that word is going to be in the correct answer. So be sure to look for those. The word talent is a much better word than being good enough for the team. So keep in mind that you can look for things that are especially well done, as well as looking for the things that you don't want to do, like tried shooting hoops. So the correct answer in this case is definitely C. So we'll move on to another question. This question says, same question, which of the following sentences has the most appropriate tone for an essay? We have A, people can be freaked out by a lizard that can leap. B, people seem to think that a lizard that can leap is peculiar. C, people think sometimes that a lizard that leaps is really wacky. And D, people seem to think that a lizard that flies around like a superhero is not cool. So I bet you're already noticing some things that are telltale signs. Let's take a look at each of the possible answers. So the first one, the words that really stand out to us are freaked out. Freaked out, not a word you want to use with the President of the United States. People can be freaked out by a lizard that can leap, probably is not our answer. People seem to think that a lizard that can leap is peculiar. Peculiar is a nice big word, so that is a possible candidate. We also don't see any inappropriate words in here that have a very casual tone. So let's go on to the next one. People think sometimes that a lizard that leaps is really wacky. Really wacky is definitely casual tone, not language you would use with the President of the United States, although you would definitely use that language with your little brother or someone like that. D, people seem to think that a lizard that flies around like a superhero is not cool. Using figurative language that is casual like this, like a superhero, and also using words like cool, both of those are very, very casual. So we would avoid using these types of expressions in an essay. So it looks like our answer is B. People seem to think that a lizard that can leap is peculiar. So moving on to the next one. This is our final question, and then we have a little challenge at the end. So which of these sentences is the most appropriate tone for an essay? A, a cool way to save money is to start a savings account at the bank near your house. B, like starting a savings account will help to get the savings in order. C, opening a savings account is the best way to get saving. D, opening a savings account at the local bank is an effective way to save money. So let's take these one at a time. A has the word cool. Cool, unless it's talking about temperature, is probably not appropriate for an essay. And near your house, depending on the situation, could work. In this case, it's a little more casual than the other options and the other answers. B starts with like. We usually don't want to start our sentences with the word like. And then get the savings going sounds very, very casual. C, opening a savings account is the best way to get saving. Again, sounds very casual. And then D, opening a savings account at the local bank is an effective way to save money. So notice that we have effective. It's our nice $10 word there. And then we don't have any of those other very casual words. So D is definitely our correct answer. Opening a savings account at a local bank is an effective way to save money. So I hope you understand a little better what appropriate tone means. It's time to comment now. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can comment on YouTube, or you can send me an email. Worst case scenario, if you don't have access to YouTube or my email address, you can give me a note card at school with the following information, and you will receive a prize on the next class day. So on the comment, email, or card, write your first name. Write a sentence that is written in an appropriate tone for an essay. So make sure it doesn't have any casual words and it has at least one nice $10 word. And then I also want to see one interesting fact about yourself. So that's all I've got for today. Thank you for coming and talking about appropriate tone with me. And make sure to look for our upcoming videos in the next few days. Thanks so much.